This is Liberal Arts 258. This is the Anatomy and Physiology with Laboratory. This being an online class, science labs are always a difficult task. Do we assign students an actual take-home? Do we mail them information? Well, the online class at CCAD uses the idea of it being a distance course, not necessarily far distance. Most of the kids that are going to take this class are going to take this class on campus. So we've designed labs that can be utilized very flexibly, but on campus. So what I have here are 4 different labs that the students will have to complete by certain times. But again, they can do anything early and they can do it anytime they want, so long as they're following the library guidelines. These labs are located in the closed reserve area of Columbus College of Art and Design's library, and students simply sign them out. They may work in groups, and then they have to be signed back in. Let me show you how Lab 4 looks. They have to be signed back in by the reference desk, and so we keep a content list of who's signing it out, which student, who's signing it back in, and make sure that we check the bin for the content. Each lab has a listing of how many pieces. They have their own barcode, as well as within each lab, there's a content list that the reserve desk needs to make sure that they check and sign out. Students can also check this to make sure that they're getting a complete lab. What I'd like to show you is just the content of the 4 labs to show you that the students really are getting a broad base in both anatomy and physiology. Lab 1 is actually done completely online, but with all the slides loaded up. But if the students choose to have an actual hard copy slides, a physical microscope to work with, we have all the slides. These are micro slides for animal tissues, for example, and a microslide viewer that they can work with. But once again, these are all loaded up online, so this is an actual very flexible lab that they can do wherever they are in their jammies if they want to. Lab 2. Lab 2 incorporates information on the skeletal system and the muscular system. So we actually have a number of activities that the students can do. I have students identifying bones that are marked. I have them doing a wonderful forensics lab that allows them to measure and learn histories of bones as well as various races to identify a victim potentially. Within this, there's also a number of interactive sites that students can go to. And Course Compass actually offers a wonderful interactive physiology, and the students will do an entire CD-ROM interactive with quizzing on the entire muscular system. So this is actually a very simple lab done half on campus and half off. Lab 3 incorporates the nervous system as well as the cardiovascular system. We have a number of slides for the students to do. Slides on the cardiovascular system, on the nervous system, on various aspects of the central nervous system. Okay. You'll also see I can put respiratory system in here, the reflex arc, the central nervous system, and again the circulatory system. So they have a nice variety of tissue samples to look at. Also within this lab, I like to have students start to experiment a little. So I have detailed explanations on how to take blood pressure readings, and the students will actually get to take blood pressure readings on themselves, on hopefully their student partner, or the librarian if she's willing to participate. You can put anything that you like into these labs. Blood pressure readings, we have to make sure we use all kinds of hygienic techniques, so we've got the alcohol swabs in here as well. I keep manuals in these labs. Even though I have directions for the students, I like to make sure that they know the background and the idea behind these experiments, so I keep all the manuals in here as well. And one more thing, no need to buy 26 copies of a video. These are password protected labs, and so the students have access to these videos in this bin. And so I actually have them watching a video on heart attacks and answering a number of questions on the video and then researching heart attacks as well. They just come into the library. The library has VHS, DVD. They can sit down and watch it at their leisure. They can also check these labs out 2 and 3 times. So if they have time to work for an hour, they can do slides for an hour and come back and watch the video later. Our fourth lab has a number of contents in it. We do the digestive system, we do sensory of the eye, we do reproductive system. Okay, there's a lot of contents in this. The students will measure off the Snellen eye chart and actually do eye chart readings. They'll do peripheral vision tests, okay, with the snazzy little number. And again, you can keep all kinds of manuals in the lab to make sure that the students have a detailed understanding of how to use the material. You'll see this is where I'm able to use models as well. I'll have students identify numbers of structures, anatomical structures on models. So we'll have, for example, the male pelvic cavity here. We have the female pelvic cavity. We also have a nice structure of the eye, okay, that the students will actually have to identify. I have some just fun examples. You have students studying their own eyes, so I'll put a mirror inside. Something new we've added. I'd like to include some pathology into the labs, and so they actually will watch again another video on breast cancer, but we also will put in models about cancer. So we have cancer models already loaded into the labs, and they'll actually try to do a testicular exam and a breast exam and locate lumps. So if they very closely simulate real breast tissue, real testicular tissue, and the students can get a good understanding of what these self-exams would be like. One more thing that I think is very fun that the students have enjoyed is we do body fat analysis. This is part of the digestive system where we talk about metabolism, caloric intake, and health and fitness. And so they can actually take their body fat readings, and they'll also answer questions about their own personal health and fitness after taking these readings. Even simple pupillary responses and the most simple blind spot tests can be added to these labs, and the students can work at their own time, at their own pace, with partners, and still get a really good understanding of anatomy and physiology online.